All right. Peace and blessings to the family. Welcome to another Supreme Numerics lesson and numerology breakdown. I guess you could say this is a Supreme Numerics slash unread book review bonus pack, lesson brought to you by Mr. Westbrook's class if you're watching on YouTube, or just plain Mr. Westbrook's if you're on Instagram and Facebook. And this video is going to be a history, meaning, and numerological breakdown of Black Love Day, observed on February 13th annually. So you're going to learn about what Black Love Day is all about, who founded it, some of the history behind it, how to celebrate it. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and go to the, as a matter of fact, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to open up with a video, then I'll go into the agenda of what this video is going to cover. So let's go ahead and get into it.
February 13th is Black Love Day. Join our global community as we participate in a 24-hour demonstration of Black love. All over the world for 24 hours, we'll demonstrate love for the Creator, love for yourself, love for your family, love for the Black community, and love for the Black race. These are the 5 tenets of the holiday called Black Love Day. It is an African-centered spiritual holiday founded in 1993 by Ayo Handy Kendi. Black Love Day, February 13th. This celebration is a demonstration of Black love. This message is brought to you by the African American Holiday Association.
All right. So that was the opening video. All right, now to the agenda. Let me move myself. Yeah, there we go. So I'm not blocking anything on the screen. So we're going to cover what is Black Love Day. You heard a little bit in that intro video. Who is the founder? You're going to learn about who she is and her bio and her background. A little bit of the history of Black Love Day, not a full history, because I want to make this brief and not exhaustive or comprehensive. And plus, I'll give you some resources on where you can learn more and everything about Black Love Day. And then, of course, get into what I do, the numerology behind Black Love Day. And then I'll close out and share those resources and the Black Love Pledge. Now, I greeted everyone with peace and blessings, but the greeting for Black Love Day, February 13th, is actually Enya Akoma, which means get a heart, be patient. And this is not to be confused with a Valentine. The symbol that you see is called an Akoma. Akoma means the heart, and it's a symbol of love, peace, love, patience, goodwill, faithfulness, and endurance. And it traces back to the Asante people of Ghana. So this is a Ghanaian Adinkra symbol. So according to the Black Love book, an anthology on love and a guide to the holy day, compiled, edited, and written by Ayo Handy Kendi, Black Love Day is a commemorative holiday or holy day of observance, reconciliation, atonement, and 24-hour demonstration of love, showing at least 5 specific acts or tenets of love towards the Creator, for self, for the family, within the Black community, and for the Black race. Whites show love in action for Blacks and inspect their own racial attitudes and behaviors. The objectives of Black Love Days are the objectives of Black Love Day. There's 4 of them. Number 1, to establish a day to focus on love in order to transform spiritually, to increase the peace, to stop the violence and end racism. Number 2, to encourage Black self-love in order to stop Black self-hatred. Number 3, to encourage racial healing the end of racism and white supremacy. Number 4, to create an alternate tradition to Valentine's Day that is spiritual and based on African and African American culture that holistically rejuvenates relationships. Now, I'll put an asterisk next to objective number 1 and objective number 4, just to elaborate a little bit on those. And with that first objective, dealing with increasing the peace and stopping the violence and the end to racism, that one kind of touches on or relates to, or you could put it into the context of what was going on during that time in that era. Black Love Day was established in 1993. We know that the early 90s was the tail end of the crack era. However, we know that it had a lasting impact beyond that time. It was something that occurred between the 1980s and the early 90s. And also there was a lot of violence, a lot of gang violence, domestic violence, a lot of the ills that we witness today were going on back during that time. So to put it in the context of what was going on, we see the need of a Black Love Day and these objectives. And then number 4 is the one that I mean, all of these resonate with me, but the alternate tradition of Valentine's Day also resonates because Valentine's Day tends to have transformed into something that's superficial, something that's commercialized, with an overemphasis on romanticism and sexuality rather than holistic love. So rather than just buying like candy and teddy bears and roses and jewelry and sitting in somebody's restaurant or hotel room, Black Love Day goes beyond all of that and demonstrating love through service, celebration, forgiveness, apologies, atonement, and rituals of public and private reconciliation. Again, that those the 5 tenets that I mentioned in the previous slide. So these objectives, they come from the Black Love book, which I'll show later in the presentation, and how you can get that book. And then also it has a full history of Valentine's Day in there as well. If you want to learn about the origin of Valentine's Day and how it's transformed over the course of history and time. And I've also linked in the description a episode of the Numbers Matter podcast, Unit 9, with Portia Cooper and Queen Bee, in which they touch on the history of Valentine's Day and also some numerical aspects. Now, how does one observe and celebrate Black Love Day? Again, going back to the 5 tenets, the whole idea is to perform these acts of love through the 5 tenets, but you can either plan them out or you can perform them spontaneously. Or you can attend a Black love relationship ceremony. And this day and time, they occur both in person and virtually. And you can participate in the ritual of reconciliation. So I've actually attended a Black love relationship ceremony in person, and this is how I became aware of Black Love Day. So let me take the screen down so I could talk to the people about my personal experience with Black Love Day and my origin story. So let me come back over here, expand that out. So I first discovered Black Love Day around 2012. It was 2012. There was a Black Love ceremony happening on my campus at Howard University in Washington, D.C. The founder, which I'll talk about in a few moments, Ayo Handy Kendi, she is actually a Washington, D.C. native, and she lived in the neighborhood that was directly behind Howard University in LaJoy Park. So she came up to campus, hosted this Black Love relationship ceremony, and it was something that I've never experienced before. It was truly a holistic and healing experience. And just to describe a little bit of what happened there, I know we started off with libations, and you'll see libations in the presentation. So libations for the ancestors. There were also public apologies where people were able to come up to the front of the room and publicly apologize to someone. There was also some performances. A couple of spoken word artists came in and performed some pieces. There was a breathwork practice as well, because Mama Ayo, she's also a certified breath facilitator, if I remembering her title correctly. So she offered that to the group as well. And there were vendors too. So another aspect of Black Love Day is that you can still buy gifts. You're encouraged to buy gifts for one another, but you are encouraged to either buy a gift from a Black-owned business or make a handmade gift. And at the first ceremony that I attended in 2012, I bought this picture. It had glass on it, but I think it fell and I broke the glass on it. But this is still hanging up on my wall, and this is I guess this is a message, a poem or a message called "Men Make a Difference," and it has several influential Black men throughout history pictured and depicted up here along with this message. So this is a item that I bought at my first Black Love relationship ceremony that I attended. And that's what some of the things that occurred at the Black Love ceremony. Of course, there were others that I'm not remembering off top, but in the Black Love book, Mama Ayo details fully how to carry out and perform and officiate a Black Love relationship ceremony. Now, my book is a little beat up because this is the electronic version. I got the PDF version or the electronic version from her website, and I printed it out. Normally, I get the print version of books, but I needed this right away. I needed this instantly. For some reason, I'm bad about planning for Black Love Day. I'm always doing things at the last minute. So I need the instant download of this book. So I got the electronic version and printed it out. And the pages, they looking kind of beat up and discolored because I was doing my own libations, here in this room one year, and I got the book wet. So, the pages a little out of shape and discolored in some areas, but that's neither here nor there. Let's go back to these slides and continue on. All right, so this is how you celebrate. And like I said, you can go into the book to get a step-by-step, detail-by-detail directions on how to observe and celebrate Black Love Day. Now, at the time of this broadcast, the Black Love Day ceremony for this year, 2025, is probably over. I tried my best to get this put together and out before the 13th. But get busy and life do what it does. So I wasn't able to get it out before the 13th. But there is another event coming up on the 22nd. The fourth Black Love Virtual Summit is coming up on Saturday, February 22nd. So you do have the opportunity to register and attend that virtually. But the 32nd Black Love ceremony happened earlier today on the 13th. It was both an in-person and virtual event. It's in its 32nd year, so still going strong. And each year, there's a specific theme for Black Love Day. So the theme for this year is or was empowering young men and women to stand stronger together, guided by elders. So you could probably go back and watch the replay of the Black Love ceremony, not the virtual summit. This virtual summit is coming up. The Black Love ceremony, Black Love Day 32nd ceremony was earlier today. And I believe you can see that on Mama Ayo's YouTube page. So I will actually need to add that to the description, the link to the Black Love Day ceremony in the description. But if you want to register to attend the virtual Black Love Summit on the 22nd, you can go to this website, which is also linked in the description, positiveenergyworks.com, to register for that. And of course, this is the flyer that you see on the screen for this year's Black Love Day relationship ceremony. Now, here's some other information about Black Love Day. Like I mentioned a few minutes ago, it was established February 13th, 1993. I like that number 13. That adds up to a 4. That's also a reason why, it's not a completely bad thing that I'm a little late on this video, because since I'm a number 4, born on the 22nd, I'm in alignment with that number 4 energy. Today's the 13th. It's still the 13th. We still have about an hour until it switches over to the 14th. So I'm right in alignment with my energy. And you're going to see more 4s come up in this presentation, in this lesson. So February 13, 1993, I already gave you some context with what was going on in the early 90s with the crack era and gang violence, especially in predominantly Black cities. I mentioned Mama Ayo is a Washington, D.C. native. And not only was a lot of violence occurring during that time, her own son was a victim of violence. He was violently murdered as a teenager. So rest in peace to her son. I believe his name was Rashid, if I'm remembering that correctly from reading her story. She was also, Mama Ayo was also influenced by Spike Lee's Malcolm X movie, and seeing that Malcolm X was murdered at the hands of Black people as well. In the words of Chuck D, and welcome to the Terror Dome, a black man squeezed on Malcolm X the man. So that's just a little bit of history on Black Love Day, established February 13, 1993. And when we go into the numerology, we'll break down those numbers and the vibrations and the frequencies that Black Love Day carries, being established on this date. But if you want to read the full history of Black Love Day, and it's a very detailed and extensive history in here, you want to go ahead and get the Black Love book. Information on how to get that book is in the description. Now, just some additional information about the ceremonies and rituals when you either attend a Black love ceremony or host your own. Uh, it incorporates the Nguzo Saba, also known as the seven principles of Kwanzaa. And putting on the ceremony involves selecting and preparing the ceremony site, setting up altars, and officiating this ceremony. And like I said, Mama Ayo goes into full detail about all of those steps and completing all of those steps. Now, the Black Love Day book itself is split up into two parts. The first part covers the background on Black Love Day. It's called All About Black Love Day, the introduction to history, why it's important, why it's needed, a how-to guide for how to celebrate it and how to host the ceremony, examples of rituals. And then in part two of the book, it's an anthology on love. So it's a collection or anthology of poems, essays, affirmations, quotes, prayers, and other creative outlets and expressions. And as you see here, we have on the left side, we have Mama Ayo officiating the ritual of pouring a libation. So this wasn't from a Black love ceremony, but this is a practice that occurs at a Black love ceremony, the pouring of libations. This particular practice occurred at the Hip Hop Caucus National Rally Against Hate Crimes in 2007. And it says the ritual of libations is the oldest form of prayer and praise originating on the continent of Africa, still practiced there today and throughout the diaspora. And then on the right, you see a setup for a Black Love Day. Again, the Akoma that I showed you all at the beginning of this, that Adinkra symbol representing the heart and patience and kindness. And then below that, you see a description, some of the description and steps on setting up the altar and setting up the space and officiating and hosting the Black Love Day relationship ceremony and the ritual reconciliation. So this is a very spiritual practice and holy day, as opposed to Valentine's Day, which can be spiritual and has some spiritual origins and roots. But like I said, in today's day and age, the masses of people tend to focus on the physical and the material aspects of Valentine's Day rather than the holistic and the spiritual parts of it. And this is, again, Mama Ayo. This is her bio that comes from the Black Love book. And I'll actually read it, to show the full respects and to fully honor this living legend, this elder that is still with us. So I actually read it from my book so I can see it better. I know it's kind of small on the screen there, so I'll read it from the book so you can hear it and learn more about the sister. I'm going to take a swig of water first. Get to the page. All right, here we go. About the author. Ayo Handy Kendi is the founder and director of the African American Holiday Association, but as a storyteller and cultural presenter, she is lovingly called Mama Ayo. Since 1989, she has delighted young and old as the Kwanzaa griot. Her presentations express her broad experiences in the movement for human rights, justice, social change, and holistic health. Ayo Handy Kendi has appeared before thousands as a lecturer, holiday authority, breath facilitator, entrepreneur, and workshop presenter. As a veteran community organizer since 1970, she has served in the coordinating leadership of countless marches, demonstrations, and campaigns, notably the Million Women's March, the Million Family March, and the African American Holiday Expo since 1982. She is the author and publisher of Positive Energy, Motivational Messages from a Sister in the Struggle, the Black Love Book, The Power of the Breath, and a play, A Day of Withdrawal. Mama Ayo is also the founder of several new holy days, Black Love Day, February 13th, and Ancestor Honor Day, last Monday in May. As the visionary spokesperson for the AAHA, she has led her nonprofit organization to use holidays, celebrations, and rituals to preserve culture and empower countless lives. As a certified transformational breath facilitator, breathologist, and stress manager, she is the CEO of Positive Works, a health service, a transformative process focused primarily around breath work. Credentialed as a BA, community organizer, AA, human services, she is also spiritually degreed in overcoming childhood abuse, domestic violence, addictions, the violent deaths of her son and brother. She is a grandmother of 5 and continues to serve as a student of life, love, and positive energy. So there's probably some updates to that bio, but this is the bio that is printed in the Black Love book and the edition that I have. So that is our founder. That is the sister that compiled and put together this book, the one that we give honor to. And I'm just seeing here in the chat, peace to Numerology. I just shouted out your twin flame and soulmate and self-love video. Just told the people to go check that out so they can hear what you all had to say, you and Portia had to say about Valentine's Day. So shout out to Numerology and BTV. Let me go back to my slides. Let's keep it moving. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the numerology. So I'll start with the dates and then I'll go into the name expression. So I'll start with the founding date, February 13, 1993, going through the month, the day, and the year separately, and then I'll put it all together. So Black Love Day was founded in February, which is the second calendar month. And the number 2 carries the energy of duality, love, intuition, patience, peacefulness, being caring, being persuasive, being understanding, kind, and sensitive on the positive side. On the negative side, number 2 energy can be petty, small-minded, deceptive, apathetic, overly sensitive, cruel, impatient, insincere, and inconsiderate. So as I'm giving you the highs and the lows, the positives and the negatives of these numbers that coincide with either the date or the name, think about it in terms of when we're practicing the 5 tenets of Black love and the absence of those 5 tenets. So the positives are when we practice those tenets, we are in alignment with the positive side of the numbers. And when we're not practicing them or we're doing the opposite of those tenets or those acts, we're vibrating on the lower side or the negative side of these numbers. So that's the month, that month of February, in which Black Love Day was founded. Now, Black Love Day was founded on the 13th day of February. And the number 13 is a powerful number, a symbol of power and dominion if it's properly understood. If it's not properly understood or used, it can be destructive, and it can bring destruction upon itself and the person that's carrying it or wielding it. It expresses continuous movement of creation, construction, and regeneration. Now, I mentioned reconciliation for Black Love Day. When I see those words, construction and regeneration, I think about the reconciliation aspect of Black Love Day. And the tarot is the death card, representing change and renewal. Not a literal death, but a symbolic death and the beginning of new life through the transformation of physical desires into spiritual aspirations. Again, transcending what Valentine's Day has become and evolved into. The physical desires, Black Love Day is elevating to the spiritual aspirations. And it's the symbolic death of the violence and the self-hatred towards ourselves and towards our race. And it's the beginning of a new life and a new love towards ourselves and our race. The 13 is the highest state of mind, energy of vision, imagination, and innovation. And also on the negative side, it can be unforgiving, controlling, hateful, stubborn, violent, and overreactive. Now, when I saw those negative attributes of the number 13 that I just read, it made me think that these are the complete opposite of what is written about and spoken about in the New Testament in 1 Corinthians 13:4, which says, well, it starts at verse 4. Look, there goes those fours again. 13 chapter, 1 plus 3 is 4, starting at the 4th verse, but going to the 8th, going up to the 8th verse. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails, but where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be still. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. So that, that description of the 13 and the overall description, the meaning and significance of Black Love Day reminds me of that biblical scripture. And this comes from the New International Version of the Bible. Now, continuing on with the date, when we break down the number 13, that 13th day, into the base number, 1 plus 3 equals 4. And that carries the vibration of being hardworking, honest, disciplined, practical, determined, loyal, enduring, just to name a few. And I made sure I pinpointed or highlighted the meanings and the frequencies of these numbers that most closely relate to Black Love Day. On the negative side of the 4, it could be crude, moody, violent, rigid, insensitive, hateful, and cruel. When we're experiencing or practicing the opposite of love and the opposite of those 5 acts or those 5 tenets, this is also what it looks like on the negative side. And on the positive side, these descriptions and these characteristics remind us of what's required in order to practice the tenets and the acts with earnest and with effort, and to really see a positive result from putting them into a consistent practice. Now, when we go to the year 1993, Black Love Day was founded in the year of the master number 22, which was a year or a vibration of foundation building, achievement of power, putting plans into action, helping and serving humanity. You think about the master numbers 11 and 22. 11 is that master visionary, the one that comes up with the ideas. The 22 takes it a step further, takes the visionary ideas and puts them into action, turns them into something tangible. That's what Mama Ayo had to do before there was the first Black Love Day observation and celebration. It was an idea in her mind. She probably wrote out a plan for it. And then under that frequency of that master builder energy, she founded Black Love Day and put it into action. And this is something that is definitely serving humanity. Mama Ayo, she's definitely not doing this for her own notoriety or fame. She's doing it because she really cares about our people and she really wants to serve humanity. Now, when we add up the month, day, and the year, February 13th, 1993, that adds up to a 10 or number one. You can think of that as the life path. You can think of that as the personal day or the personal year. But this was the frequency in which Black Love Day was founded. And that shows us or tells us that Black Love Day is here to teach us, and we're here to learn through our observation and celebration of this holiday to be success-driven, constructive, creative, to be leaders on the positive side, and to avoid arrogance, destruction, and selfishness on the negative side. And this is the 32nd year of Black Love Day, 2025. So what is the numerical frequency of this year's Black Love Day, February 13th, 2025? When we add up the month, day, and the current year, it adds up to a number 6, which is right in alignment, right in lockstep, like Queen Bee would say, with the meaning of Black Love Day. And actually, one of the tenets, key tenets, one of the 5 tenets or acts of Black Love Day, showing love towards one's family. And the number 6 is connected to family and being family oriented. Number 6 is a number of love, as it's connected to the planet Venus. It's the number of divine balance. Black Love Day and practicing these tenets requires a balanced approach. It's a nurturing energy. It's a healing energy. It's magnetic. It's an educator energy here to teach us. It's a comforter, and it's a frequency of justice, knowing or distinguishing between right and wrong. But on the negative side, when we're not practicing the 5 tenets or the 5 acts, it could lead to stubbornness, being judgmental towards one another, acting as a tyrant towards one another, being interfering, cynical, suspicious, jealous, complacent, and being self-righteous. That definitely doesn't sound like love, and it definitely doesn't sound like the result of honestly and truly practicing the tenets and acts of Black Love Day. Now, when we go into the name expression of Black Love Day, you see I divided the 3 words within the title. Black in both the Chaldean and Pythagorean systems of numerology add up to a master number 11. Love adds up to a number 21 in the Chaldean, number 18 in Pythagorean. Number 6 in the word day adds up to a number 6 in Chaldean, and the number 12 in the Pythagorean system, for a total of a 38/11/2 in the Chaldean system, and number 41/5 in the Pythagorean system of numerology. And starting with the Chaldean system, again, think about this when you see negative descriptions and positive descriptions. The negative descriptions representing the results of not following or exercising, practicing the tenets or acts of Black Love Day. And the positive side, what happens when we practice them, or when there is no absence of those 5 tenets. So the number 38 in one system of numerology causes arguments, confusions, and divorces, but increases harmony where there's agreement, and brings deception and lies to disagreements. It's an unbalanced number. I wrote number twice. Unbalanced number that should be observed cautiously when planning future events, but must maintain a positive nature as it affects the nervous system. And then going to another interpretation of the 38, according to Chiro, or Kiro, however you say his name, he says that the number 38 carries the same meaning as the number 29, which is insecurities, betrayals, grief and deception by the opposite sex, hidden danger, unreliable friends. And in the tarot, it's the Justice card, the number 11. When you reduce it down, reduce the 38 to 11, it's the Justice card, representing hidden danger and deception. So when, like I said, when we're not practicing those 5 tenets with integrity and with consistency, we run the risk of experiencing the negative aspects of the 38, the 29, and the 11. But when we do practice these 5 tenets, the positive side of the 11 include new beginnings, visionary ideas for the future, being inspirational, and guiding humanity into the light of love, compassion, and healing. Black Love Day is definitely here to heal and to undo a lot of the hurt and the pain that we've experienced, either individually or collectively. Now, moving on to the Pythagorean breakdown of Black Love Day, adding up to a 41/5 in the expression. Here are the meanings of the 41 and the 5. The number 41 is lucky with plans and is able to get what it wants, keeping dangerous things and people at bay. It has self-control over sexual and playboy, playgirl inclinations. Again, that's reminding me that Black Love Day is an alternative to Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day, with its overemphasis on romantic love and sex, Black Love Day is elevating above that to a holistic and spiritual type of love. Number 5 is freedom loving. And when we practice the tenets of Black love, we were able to experience freedom, through practicing these tenets. It's also a reminder that we need to be adaptable. Since number 5 is the number of adaptability, we need to be adaptable in our relationships and in our practice of the tenets. And going back to the self-control part and rising above the physical and the lustful and the strictly sexual and romantic aspects of love, It encourages, the number 5 encourages us to avoid overindulgence and addiction to sex, and also to avoid a lack of discipline. Now, oftentimes you'll see Black Love Day abbreviated into its acronyms, BLD. So when we do the sum of BLD in both systems, the Chaldean and the Pythagorean system, they both add up to a number 9, which is another powerful number, powerful and loving number when it vibrates on the higher side. On the positive side of the number 9, it's showing us that with Black Love Day, with these tenets, when we practice them, it carries the energy of universal love, inspiration, humanitarianism, peace and harmony, compassion towards one another, and honesty. Now, when we don't, we experience the negative side. When we're not in alignment with the energy of Black Love Day on the higher side, it can be connected to anger, contention, sorrow, war and death, arguments, impulsiveness, and narrow-mindedness. So that is the numerological breakdown of Black Love Day from both the dates and the expression of the name Black Love Day. And now we're getting towards the end. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for your time, your attention, your positive energy. Thank you for your comments, your shares. This is my observation of Black Love Day. Now, I was thinking about this presentation all day, trying to express the tenets as best I can. Of course, I didn't do the best that I could, but this is my expression, and this is how I chose to celebrate Black Love Day by giving you all this offering for free. And I do it because I love you, and I love you because I love me. I am because we are because I am. And how we doing on time? We under an hour too, so that's perfect. So what we're going to do, we're going to close out with the Black Love Pledge. And actually, before we get to the Black Love Pledge, let's go through the sources and the references so I can give credit to where I got my information from. Of course, the Black Love Book, an anthology on love and guide to the Holy Day, compiled, edited, and written by Ayo Handy Kendi, the founder of Black Love Day. If you want to get the book, you can go to our website, positiveenergyworks.com. You can also go to that website to register for the February 22nd, 4th Annual Black Love Summit. And the book comes in both ebook format and print. Now, the other references, Numbers and You, a Numerology Guide for Everyday Living by Lori Strayhorn. And very interestingly, Mama Ayo actually has Lloyd's book listed in her resources. Now, I need to take some more time to go through this book so I can see exactly where she referenced it, but it's in here. So let me take this down for a second to show you all this. And I don't think I noticed this before. I've had this book for years, and I don't think I've noticed that Lloyd's book was listed in the references. So let me bring myself back up here. Span that. I don't know if you all can see that, but if we go, yep, there it is, right there, right below my finger. Lori Strayhorn, Numbers and You. Yeah, reference in the Black Love book. Let me pull this back up so we can finish going through these resources. And of course, shout out to Lori Strayhorn. He's the Jejna, the master teacher, the colleague, all of those things. I also came from numerovation for mental stability, a numerovational guide to recognizing mental instability and staying motivated by King Simon, another colleague and student of Lloyd Strayhorn. Numbers Decoded, Cards Unfolded, The Mystic's Primer to Numerology and Cardology by Jackie Levine. And lastly, Caro's Book of Numbers, Chaldean Numerology Explained by Chiro. So those were the references and the sources that I used for this presentation. And at this time, we will close out with the Black Love Pledge, which is found in the Black Love book. And I will read it from my book since it's a little hard to read on the screen here. So let me just find the correct page. It's on page 32. And if you all want this, because I know it's kind of hard to see on the screen, just let me know and I'll send you a picture of the Black Love Pledge. So I'm going to read it. If you choose to repeat it after me, you could do that. I mean, but it is a lot, so you might want to just read it for yourself. So just reach out to me and I'll share it with you. But this is the Black Love Pledge. Let me get another drink of water before I read this. All right, the Black Love Pledge. I pledge to show love for the Creator, to make a greater spiritual connection, recognizing that we image the Supreme Being, the Creator. Therefore, I accept myself as a God center, as the source of all creativity, love, power, and positive energy. I pledge to love myself first and to erase all traces of self-hatred, for when I love myself, I therefore can love others. To take care of myself by not abusing myself through unhealthy life choices, such as drug usage, unsafe sex, poor eating and exercise habits, negative relationships, damaging attitudes. I pledge to develop moral principles to stand for, because if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. To discipline myself to become the best I can be. I pledge to forgive myself for past acts of unloving behavior and move on, to let love heal and transform my life. I pledge to show love for my family by supporting them, spending quality time with them, providing for them, forgiving them, communicating in ways to build better relationships, accepting that our youth are not always the problem, but as parents who must take greater responsibility towards youth, passing on knowledge, values, and culture. I pledge to show love for my community by keeping it clean and environmentally safe, to recognize that the environment supports us only if we correctly support it, to work in service with the group or in some activity to make the world a better place for all. I pledge to show love for the race by learning our African history, which gives us a foundation and a heritage to be proud of, to recognize that African people all over the world have a common identity, a common struggle, and a common need to love each other, accepting that love for my race doesn't mean hate for others. I pledge to show love for myself, the community, and the race by building our economic base, by expecting no one to do for us what we can do for ourselves, by spending our money with Black people first, by learning and practicing sound financial management, entrepreneurship, saving, investing, and wealth building principles, by developing prosperous attitudes. I pledge to commit to the Nguzo Saba, the 7 principles of Blackness, and to practice these principles on a daily and year-long basis, not just during Kwanzaa. Umoja, unity; Kujichagulia, self-determination; Ujima, collective worker responsibility; Ujama, cooperative economics, Nia, purpose, Kuumba, creativity, Amani, faith. And then at the bottom of that was the last pledge. And then at the bottom you can assign it. Then you write your name, pledge this day, put the date to put love in action on Black Love Day, February 13th, and every day. And this Black Love Pledge was written by Ayo Handy Kendi, copyright 1993. So that was the history, meaning, and numerical breakdown of Black Love Day. Now, this is the benediction. Go forth and express the 5 tenets or acts of Black Love Day today and each and every day. Peace in Yakoma.